Hi, I'm Christy Gray, team leader of the Honest Agent team. Today we're going to be training on the buyer consult process. I've been told my buyer consult's a little bit different than most, so I like to be really regimented about it, so I break it into 3 sections. So it's the sort of how to buy a home chunk, the needs analysis chunk, which is the bread and butter, it's about 30 minutes, and then timeline/financing is the last little bit for a total of 45 minutes. So why I do it that way, why I do it that way is because I know I cover everything. I don't need this huge checklist to go through. I don't get overwhelmed or intimidated. I can be really pretty casual about it just because I feel really confident in what I'm doing. And it's regimented enough that the buyer feels comfortable with you. So it feels like you've done it 1,000 times. It feels like this girl's on her stuff. And I just know I hit everything. I have this beautiful note sheet at the end of it that I can then input into Follow Up Boss and find them exactly what they're looking for in the MLS or Real Scout. So by the end of this, I feel like I've got a client and I know what you're looking for and you feel comfortable with me and excited with me. I have a follow-up appointment set with Rodrigo and with me for showings. That's how I do it. It gives me the confidence in knowing that I've asked every question, and I think it gives the buyer confidence in the fact that they have an agent that knows what she's doing. Okay, so we're gonna do a training on the buyer consult. So this is Donnie, he's going to be our buyer, and the only thing that I would ask from you is that you not have crazy expectations on like a beer budget. So just be kind of fair about being a buyer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. So a couple things I want you to pay attention to. Number one, when I want a yes answer from him, you'll see me start to nod my head. I won't usually ask for a no answer, so I won't usually shake my head. And number 2 is I don't let him off the hook. So if he says he wants 3 bedrooms, I'm going to circle back around and figure out like what those bedrooms are for. You can't just tell me something like I want a big backyard or an updated kitchen, and I'll leave it as is. So I'm always going to be kind of pressing you and digging a little deeper. So those are kind of like 2 things I want you to keep an eye on. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Great.
Hi, Donnie. I'm Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining me at Starbucks.
Okay. Absolutely.
So is it okay if I take notes?
Sure.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
So our relationship began on Zillow. Tell me how long you were perusing Zillow for, how long you've been looking online for at homes.
Right. So I've been casually browsing for about the past 6 months, I'd say.
Okay. About the past 6 months. Am I the first realtor you've sat down with?
Yes.
Okay. So you were just more casually browsing until recently.
Yeah, just kind of seeing what's out there. I know that I've heard that buying is a good investment, so, I've been just seeing what's out there to try to figure out what I want.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Thanks again for taking the time to meet with me. I'm really excited to get to know what you're looking for.
Thanks.
Okay, perfect. So to give you a little breakdown of what we'll be doing for the next 45 minutes or so, the first 5 minutes, I want to just go into the home buying process, see how much you know, and sort of flesh out what you don't know. From there, we'll take about 30 minutes doing a buyer needs analysis. So I want to know exactly what you're looking for, and I'm going to give you the space to kind of dream. So don't be budget focused at that point, just sort of dream with me and tell me what you're looking for in the perfect home.
Okay.
Lastly, we'll wrap up talking about timeline and finances. That'll take about 5 to 10 minutes for a total of about 45. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So the buyer process, tell me how much you know about buying a home. Are you a first-time home buyer?
I am a first-time
Okay.
home buyer. And I'm not too familiar with the process. Like I said, I've just been looking online and just kind of get an idea of what I think I want.
Okay, perfect. So tell me what you do know about the home buying process, if you could break it down, or if you know very little, that's okay too.
I know that homes are going pretty quickly in the area, are on the market, and I know that there's some programs out there for first-time home buyers, and I know that, there's a home inspection that I should do to make sure that everything's okay. But, other than that, I'm kind of really new to the process as a whole.
Okay.
Just been browsing online.
Okay, is it okay if I break down the process in really simple terms?
That'd be great.
Okay, so the first step is to do what we're doing right now. So meeting with a lender and a realtor in person. So you're doing the realtor portion, and then I'll hook you up towards the end with the lender.
Okay.
From there, we will go out and see properties. So that's sort of what you see on like HGTV and House Hunters. You see people looking at the kitchens, looking at the homes. That's home tours.
Right.
So that's what we'll do sort of as the next step.
Okay.
When you find a property or two that you love, we'll write offers, and I will go up to bat for you negotiating the offer price and the offer terms. When we come to terms on a property, that's when we open escrow. So I won't go too deep into that, but that's when like the inspection happens, the appraisal happens, sort of what you were talking about, getting the home looked at by an inspector. That all happens during escrow, which takes between like 15 and 45 days typically in San Diego, just depending on the loan and some other factors.
Okay.
When escrow closes on that last day of escrow, you get your keys, your loan funds, and escrow's closed. So that's when you become a homeowner.
Okay.
Is on that last day of escrow. So I'll hand you your keys, and you sort of have at it. So that's the process in a nutshell. Is that sort of what you thought it was? Does it make sense?
That makes sense. I didn't
Okay.
realize that you could buy so quickly, but that all sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's not too long of a process. It's a little bit longer than renting, but I've put people into homes a week after they met with me, and sometimes 6 months after. It really just depends on your timeline, the seller's timeline, and how long it takes to find the right home. So.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, now I'd love to dive into sort of the meat and potatoes of today's meeting, the buyer needs analysis. So hit me with it. Start to tell me what you're looking for in a home.
Okay, so I think I would like something, 3 bedrooms. 3
Okay.
bedrooms and at least 2 baths and a backyard. And parking.
How many parking spots do you need?
At least 1.
Okay.
2 would be nice.
And that'd be for your car?
That'd be for my car.
Okay.
And laundry.
Okay. Laundry in the unit
Laundry
or in
in
a
the unit or
garage?
at least hookups.
Okay. So you don't want to go to the laundromat,
I
basically,
don't
is what
want
I'm
to go
hearing.
to the laundry.
Okay. No laundromat. I'm going to circle back to backyard.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about that. What would you use a backyard for?
Well, I just would like to have some space to entertain. If I just want to sit outside and work from home, it'd be nice to.
Oh, you work from home.
I like light and I like fresh air, so it'd be nice to just be able to have an outdoor space that I can invite friends and family over for and just hang out.
So you like to entertain?
I do.
It's important to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any kids or dogs?
I have no kids, no dogs.
Okay.
Just,
No pets yet?
Fish.
Oh. Backyard won't help that much for your fish. Okay, cool. 3 beds, 2 baths. Can you dive into that a little bit more? What would you use each of the 3 bedrooms for?
Well, right now it's just myself, but so I'd like a bedroom for myself and then a guest room for friends and family to be able to come and stay, and then a space that I can use as an office.
'Cause you
space
work
would
from
be really
home.
Nice. Yeah.
What do you do?
I am a solar salesman.
Cool. Office for solar sales. And then the 2 bathrooms, would that be a master bath and then a guest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just 2. Master would be perfect. But a different bathroom space for guests would be awesome.
Okay, awesome. Okay, wonderful. Keep going. Tell me what else you're looking for.
Well, I really like to cook, so I'd like the kitchen space to be open. And like I said, I like to entertain. So, and I'm a big foodie. So, a lot of times when I get together with friends and family, a lot of that time is spent eating. So, I'd like a kitchen where I can entertain and relax and cook all at the same time.
Okay. Tell me about the flow of the property. Are you looking for more of an open feel, or do you like to be sort of have separate spaces for separate functions?
I like open.
Okay.
I like open concept. A nice flow.
Okay. Okay, great. So you work from home, you love to entertain. How often would you say you have guests?
Probably twice a week, maybe.
Oh, a lot. Okay.
A little bit on the weekends and maybe once or twice during the week.
Okay. Awesome. Tell me about your aversion to like move-in ready versus fixer-upper. Are you averse to a fixer-upper? Do you want move-in ready, or do you like the challenge
I really
of...
like move-in ready.
Okay.
I don't want to have to do anything except pack and unpack.
Okay.
Just because, you know, I spend a lot of time working. I just don't think that I would have the time to
To
make
do a
renovations
project.
or projects. I really prefer something that's ready to go that I
Okay.
can just
Perfect.
sell right into.
Perfect. So move-in ready. That's really good to know. A lot of people aren't sure about that one, so
Mhm.
that really helps that you know you just want to move in your junk and
Yeah.
be done with it. Okay, can you tell me a little bit about house versus condo, like a attached versus detached? Speak to. I know you want a backyard.
Yeah. I prefer a house. However, a townhome is okay as well. As long as it meets the, you know,
Criteria.
criteria that we're talking about.
Okay.
I know that a townhome will probably involve a monthly HOA fee, but I'm okay with that because I just want low maintenance.
Okay.
So I'm not opposed to something that's attached.
Okay. Not opposed to something that's attached because it's a little bit more low maintenance as long as it meets everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Tell me about part of town. I know you work from home, so commute's not a factor, right?
Commute's not a factor. I think something central or even along the coast would be nice. I know coastal property is a little bit more on the higher end price-wise, but you know, something where I have access to nightlife or
Tell me about that. What do you like to do?
transportation. I like to go out and eat.
Okay.
I enjoy good wine. You know, I like to go to different beer festivals and farmers
Cool.
markets. So
Yeah.
I like to get out and enjoy
San Diego
outdoors.
living.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to be close to that. I
Cool.
don't want to be secluded out.
In the boonies.
Exactly.
So when you say restaurants, beer fest, nightlife, where do you usually go? Do you like North Park? Do you like downtown? Is there...
I like North Park.
Okay.
I like Encinitas, Carlsbad area as well.
Okay.
Mission Valley is fine.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time down there.
So North is okay.
Yes.
So you want to be within a reasonable drive to the fun central part of
Exactly.
San Diego. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't hit on that you're really looking for or want to avoid?
Nope. The only thing that I just don't want to be out in the boonies, like we said.
That's
But,
the most important.
Yeah, that's most important.
Okay.
I don't mind a little bit of a commute because I do work from home much of the time, but I don't mind driving
Okay.
a bit. So
Yeah, I'm starting to sort of be able to formulate different properties that I think would work for you.
Okay.
One thing I want to press on a little bit and just get your feedback on, the 3-bedroom. If we were to combine the guest room and office for a 2-bedroom and they were larger bedrooms, would that be functional for your lifestyle or not so much?
that would be okay.
Okay.
That would be okay.
Okay. I just wanted to know if there was any flexibility there.
Yeah,
If the
I'm
bedrooms
okay
were
with
bigger.
the dual space.
Okay,
You know,
you're
at
okay
least
with
for
the
now,
dual
it's just
space.
me. So, you know, if I had to part ways with one bedroom that met all the other criteria,
Got
that would
it.
be okay.
So there is wiggle room on that. Okay, wonderful. Just so you guys know, I'd spend probably 10 to 15 more minutes diving a little deeper into everything. I really get super nitty gritty about like, what do you like to do when you entertain? Do you play bocce ball? Do you cook for your guests? And really kind of, it's sort of like rapport building, but also it helps me understand where I have flexibility and where I don't have flexibility. So if they really like to do something outside, I know yard's probably not going to be negotiable for him. And so I'd press on each issue just a little bit longer. But for the sake of a demo, I'll wrap up the buyer needs
Okay.
here. So Donnie, I feel like I'm getting a really good idea of what you're looking for. Would you say the same?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
You
nothing
got it.
I've missed.
Nope, I think you're checking all the boxes there.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to transition into talking about finances and timeline.
Okay.
Timeline's a little bit of a quicker conversation. So tell me where you live right now. Are you in a rental?
I am in a rental.
Okay.
I am in Pacific Beach right now.
Okay. What do you pay for rent?
I pay about $1,500.
Okay. And do you live by yourself?
I do.
Okay. Is your lease now month to month at this point?
It is.
Okay. is it fair to say that given that you're month to month, when you find the right property, you'd be willing to potentially purchase it? Or is there any factor that would make you want to wait a little bit longer before buying?
No, I think as long as I find the right property, I'm willing to act on it.
Okay.
I'm in a month to month, so I don't have any commitment to a landlord.
You just have to
other
give
than
30 days.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you have the flexibility to stay in your lease or leave your lease
Absolutely.
as you see fit.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That really helps me to know. So I want to talk about finance. Have you talked to a lender about getting a loan for a home yet?
No, I haven't met with anyone. However, I have heard about some first-time homebuyer products that are out there. So that would be something that I'd be like interested in looking at.
Okay.
To save myself some money.
Awesome. Okay. So the lender can speak a little bit better to the homebuyer programs. I have a really great lender named Rodrigo that I work with often. He's with Cross Country Home Mortgage. Would it be okay if I ask him to give you a call after we meet today?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's fly. Okay, perfect. So that was not any objection. He was just very amiable. So I'm going to ask again about
Okay.
lender and tell me that you're tied to Chase because you bank there.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move into talking about finance. So have you met with a lender or talked to a lender yet about getting a loan on your home?
Well, I bank with Chase, and they've been my banker for years. So, and I know all the tellers there, so I'm 99% sure that I'm going to go with Chase Bank.
Going to
do
go
my
with
home
Chase.
mortgage.
Okay, great. I definitely recommend you get a pre-approval letter from Chase because you're comfortable with them, you know them, and in fact, so many of my clients, their first instinct is to go to their banking facility, right? Like I bank with Wells Fargo, that's who I'm comfortable with in the banking sphere. One thing I want to just note is that banks are really good at banking and lending companies are really good at lending. So their bread and butter is banking, whereas lending companies' bread and butter is lending. And not to scare you, but if something were to go wrong in a real estate transaction, 9 times out of 10, it's because the lender can't perform. And I really don't want to see that happen to you, especially with these bigger banks like Chase. I've worked with them. There's just more red tape. There's a little more bureaucracy. They move a little bit slower. I understand if you want to get pre-approved, and I even understand if you want to use them for the loan. But what I would ask is that you get a second opinion from a lender that I know moves really quickly and is a really solid lender so that should any issue arise, you have a backup plan in place. Would it be okay if I have Rodrigo from Cross Country give you a call?
That'd be okay.
Okay, just for a second opinion.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So all you can really do is get our lender in at bat. You can't pitch him all that much more than that because I really can't compare Chase to Cross Country like in terms of the lending programs. I don't know them enough. And I'm not going to pretend to. So all I can do is really get Rodrigo in at bat and schedule a phone call with him, and then it's on him to convert that client, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will have Rodrigo give you a call. Is maybe 20 minutes okay after we meet here?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. So the next step will be for you to talk to Rodrigo and then for you and I to go out and see properties. So I'd love to set an appointment for that if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How's maybe Saturday morning at 10 a.m.?
Saturday would work. Saturday
Okay.
morning's fine.
Great. So that'll start to give us an idea of what's on the market, what you can afford, and just get your feedback on the kinds of properties we're seeing and
Okay.
go from there.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Thanks again, Donnie, for
You're
meeting
welcome.
with me today. I'm so excited to help you find a home.
I'm excited too.
Oh shoot, I forgot the BRE. So I'll backtrack just one step. So I would set the appointment with Rodrigo, I'd set the appointment with me, and I would say, so Donnie, I work with about 5 buyers at a time. Because I put a lot of time and effort into finding them a home. I have 3 buyer clients right now, and I feel like I have a really good idea of what you're looking for. Do you still feel like that's true?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I get a micro commitment before I ask for the BRE. So in order for me to go to work for you, I need you to sign my buyer broker agreement, my BRE form. It just allows me to get to work for you and protect you in the real estate sphere. So here's where you sign. Perfect. I will email you a copy of this and see you on Saturday.
Okie dokie. That sounds great.
So he didn't give me a lot of pushback. A lot of the pushback you'll get is, do I have to pay you? And you say, no, you don't have to pay me. The seller pays me. Do I have to buy a home? No, you don't have to buy a home. It just allows me to go to work for you if you do decide to buy a home, should you decide to buy a home. Other pushback you get on that? What other pushback do you get?
Like one agent versus.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should commit myself to just one agent. If you get that, you probably didn't do a strong enough buyer broker analysis. They should feel really comfortable, and you should have gotten enough micro commitments that if they say something like that, you should say, I really only work with people that are committed to working with me. I feel like I really know what you're looking for and can do a great job. Would you agree? I feel like I know what you're looking for, right?
Right.
Okay, and you kind of have to go back to that, like, yes, you know what I'm looking for because we just spent 30 minutes going through it, and then you have to ask again.
Okay.
If they still won't sign it, they may have a friend or something in real estate, and you're going to need to press on that a little bit more. So, okay, so you're not willing to sign it at this time. Did you have another realtor that you were potentially working with or talking to? And you have to sort of dig into that a little bit if you get that objection.
Okay.
But for me, most of the time when your buyer consult is solid, they'll feel really comfortable signing and actually like excited to take the next steps with you because they feel like, you know, you really know them, you're super competent, you already have 3 clients filled out of 5, and they're just ready to rock and roll. So if they won't sign it, to me it's a red flag.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to like push on it a little bit harder, and then ultimately, if they still won't sign it, kind of decide if they're worth your time.
Got it.
But you should have people really excited by the end of this. I've had people cry and be like, I didn't know I wanted this, but now I want it, and you understand me. That means you got them.
Okay.
So any kind of like excitement or tears or smiles, you've got a good client on the line once they've signed. Do you guys have any questions?
So at what point do you decide that you just need to walk away, and what do you say?
Need to walk away if they won't sign a buyer.
Yeah. You know, what do you say to them?
Yeah. I don't know that that's happened. If someone, I mean, that'd be really awkward if they just pushed back over and over again after you do a really good buyer broker agreement. What would be the reason? And I'll tell you what I would say.
I'm trying to think of what I've heard before. Well, I think you touched on that. If they've got a friend in the business, you know, if they just flat out say, no, I'm going to use my friend.
They usually won't go through a 45-minute buyer consult with you if they know that they're going to use a friend. It's a little bit awkward. They probably would tell you before when you're trying to book the appointment that they have a friend in real estate. So I haven't gotten to the end of this and then they're like, I have a friend I'm going to use. It'd be a little bit awkward and you didn't pre-qual them quite hard enough in terms of setting the appointment.
Kind of pre-qual them enough on the phone.
Yeah, like,
setting the appointment.
Hey, Michelle, this appointment's going to be 45 minutes. This is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that something you're open to?
Yeah.
Great. That's probably when they'd tell you that I have a friend that I'm going to work with. Because they really don't. They're not interested in wasting their time or yours if they know that they have a friend.
So what, as far as setting the appointment, you know, getting to the buyer consultation, a lot of people will call, I want to see a specific property right now, you know, and that is what they're considering an appointment. So how do you handle that when you get that sort of person on the phone?
So if someone is so excited about seeing a property, show them the property.
Yeah.
If you don't give them what they want, they're clicking that button again on Zillow and finding someone who will.
Exactly.
So don't push away someone who's asking to see a property. So I will dispatch, I will show them the property. It depends. If it's a vacant home, I'll try to do a buyer consult there. But what I really like to do is invite them to coffee after that showing and then do the buyer consult there and then set the appointment at that time.
Yeah.
But never turn away someone who wants to see a home. Yeah. I know it's so tempting to like...
It is.
to pre-qual them a little bit harder, but it's worth an hour of your time every time to just dispatch and meet them. And sometimes you'll just meet them there and they want that home and you don't even need the
That's the best.
That's the best. But usually the home you show them, the home that you meet them at, doesn't work for them. So sometimes I'll post up in the kitchen if it's vacant and just hang out there for a few more minutes. Obviously you do it a little bit faster there because they get distracted by like the finishes of the home and there's a lot to look at, right? It's a home they're considering buying, so I really prefer to do it in a Starbucks if I can, but I'm never going to turn away someone who wants to see one.
Okay.
And then you mentioned that you were going to set an appointment after he met with Rodrigo, so like another appointment for
To do showings.
To do showings, okay.
Because in this example, he was, say, a Zillow online lead, and I set an appointment for a buyer consult, so I haven't shown him anything yet.
So he didn't inquire about a specific property, he just got a lead through.
Exactly. Or he even did inquire about a specific property. Maybe I call him and he's like, I don't know, I just clicked on it, I want to buy something, I don't really know what I'm looking for yet, that's when I would go for a buyer consult. Be like, oh, I can totally help with that. Let me dive in a little bit deeper with you. Are you free for a 45-minute buyer consult over a coffee with me? Because if he didn't really know what he wanted or he wasn't super set on one property.
How about if you don't know his price point at that point?
What do you mean?
Like what he's qualified for?
When he wants to do a to do showings. So if someone inquires about a property and is really excited about, I don't care that much if they're qualified. I'm going to meet them. I'm going to get face to face with them, and then I'm going to figure out if they're pre-qualified. And then if you get to do the buyer consult, towards the end, you get to inquire about, hi Kelly, you get to inquire about the financing side of things. So either way, it's fine. I'm not going to push someone away based on that. What I will say is, I'm hoping that Rodrigo will talk to him prior to our Saturday showing, so I don't spend 2 hours actually opening doors for him before he talks to Rodrigo, which is why I schedule it Rodrigo and then me.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people that we don't want to waste time spending, hours looking at properties that are out of your price range.
Totally.
Or even below your price range.
Totally.
So I totally say that to people. You
Yep.
may even be approved for more
Yep.
than what you think or less or...
Yeah, we just want to be spot on, show you appropriate homes.
You might be able to not afford these
For sure. And people understand that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to break your heart, and I also want to show you homes that are appropriate for your family. So let's get the finances in order and go from there. But I will do, I feel like you can get a vibe for what people will be qualified for based on kind of their job, how much they pay for rent, just the conversations you're having. So, for example, I did 3 rounds of showings last week with this newlywed couple. I didn't know what they were pre-approved for. They were talking to Rodrigo, but they hadn't sent in their stuff yet. They hadn't. And she asked me 2 more times. She's like, can you show me this home? Can you show me this home? I said yes. I had a gut feeling that they were pretty solid. So I invested 3 hours of my time doing 3 rounds of showings. They got pre-approved yesterday for $550 with Rodrigo. So they're not ready to buy a home.
They're not ready to sell their home. They're not, things that they face-to-face did not tell you over the phone when you were trying to pre-qualify them.
It's common that they tell you things face-to-face that they don't tell you over the phone, because he should be feeling warm fuzzies. He should be trusting me. We should have some degree of rapport. So I want to be knowing these finessed, weird little things at this point. There's not much you can't overcome, though. Like, if he said, I want to rent out my home, I'm going to offer to help him rent out his home, or at least I will set the appointment to go see it and then tell him what it could rent for. So in any case, you should be able to do something with what they give you. I mean, if we go through this at the end, he's like, screw this. I don't want to do any of this. Like, that's never happened to me, but I guess I would just follow up in 6 months if he was super overwhelmed or intimidated. But I'd really want to know why. Is it the finances? Is it you don't think you're going to find what you're looking for? Is it me you're uncomfortable with? What is it? I mean, I haven't had someone just be like, nope. But I guess it could happen.
It could happen, that's for sure. It could definitely happen.
You would just want to dive into where their hesitation is, and you can overcome most objections. Most people aren't going to meet with you for 45 minutes if they don't strongly suspect they're going to buy something. It's not like the most fun usage of 45 minutes of your time if you...
I do like that you put in a time limit like that, where you just set that expectation.
Yeah, I feel like it gives an air of professionalism. When I'm telling you I'm asking for 45 minutes of time and breaking down where we're going to spend that 45 minutes, and I end it. Like, I've been looking at my watch right now. We're at 40 minutes, 39 minutes. I'm going to let him go at minute 45 or close to, because unless he has major questions, I really want to be a professional and respectful of his time and mine. So yeah, I like to set pretty firm timelines, and I also don't like to let my buyer client lead the conversation. So in the groups that we did this for, a lot of them say, well, I get so caught up in like the rapport building side of thing, and I'm just having this conversation that I feel like my client sort of takes over. So you need to be the one guiding it. If they're guiding this conversation, asking you the questions, you've probably lost that client, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to trust someone who's letting me just barrage them with questions. Like, I want my professional to be asking me the questions. Like, if I go see a lawyer, I expect them to know how to consult me. I don't want to have to come in with 50 questions and ask them. So if you're asking the questions and you're very structured and regimented and stick to your timeline and stick to your process, they're going to feel like, oh my gosh, this girl's done this 1,000 times. I'm in really good hands. You just feel, I think you feel more professional.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was professional?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And structured.
And structured.
Yeah, we had people who said they just kind of sit down with a piece of paper and just chat, and hopefully they get to the console, hopefully they get to the timeline, hopefully they get to the financing. But one of them was like, well, it takes me like 2 hours, and even then I feel like half of the time we're just talking about the Padres, or, you know, they're just sort of getting to know each other. But your client has enough friends. Like, he hired you, or he's here for a reason, and he wants to get in, get out, and, you know, not be with you for 2 hours.
So what happens if, so he just signed the VRE, what happens if they want to go over it and take that
Oh, sure.
time? You just,
No problem. So go ahead and review this and let me know if you have any questions. And then they usually review it, and it's a pretty awkward thing to have someone looking at you when you're reading a contract. So usually they skim over it pretty quickly and they sign it.
yeah.
Someone really analytical might take the 5 minutes to read through the whole thing. But there's nothing super crazy in a BRE. It's not particularly the most binding kind of contract. So it doesn't make you buy a home. It just says that if you should decide to buy a home, that you'll use me to represent you, and I'll get to go to work for you. So it's a pretty soft ask.
Yeah.
It's a little bit softer than like signing a listing agreement or signing an RPA.